Late-night television is full of promises that you can isolate and burn belly fat with a specialized supplement or a 10-minute routine. For decades, the fitness industry has marketed contraptions designed to isolate your abdominal muscles, pushing the idea that flexing a specific muscle burns the fat directly on top of it. But clinical research from institutions like the University of Sydney has repeatedly proven that spot reduction is a biological myth. Exercising a specific part of your body does not reduce fat in that area. This diagram illustrates the actual mechanics of lipolysis. When you exercise, your body breaks down stored triglycerides into free fatty acids and glycerol, releasing them into your bloodstream to be used as energy. Your muscles pull from this global supply, entirely ignoring which local muscle happens to be working the hardest. And not all of that fat is the same. There is the superficial subcutaneous fat that sits just under your skin, and then there is visceral fat. Visceral fat is packed deep inside your abdomen, wrapping tightly around your internal organs and driving the inflammation associated with metabolic disease. Because your body relies on genetics and hormones to dictate where it pulls energy from, exhausting your abs won't clear out that dangerous visceral fat. Effective fat loss requires a shift in strategy towards systemic metabolic reprogramming. That reprogramming begins with input. Clinical guidelines suggest consuming between 1.2 and 1.4 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight to properly maintain lean tissue. This graphic illustrates protein's dual function. On one side, high protein intake triggers the release of peptide YY, a hormone that actively suppresses your appetite. On the other side, because protein is complex to digest, it creates a high thermal gradient, forcing your body to burn more calories to process the meal. This starkly contrasts with older dietary models, like the classic food pyramid, which recommended building your entire diet on a massive base of carbohydrates. Relying heavily on carbs at the expense of protein often leads to a loss of lean muscle mass during weight loss. The second necessary input is soluble fiber, found in oats, legumes, and sweet potatoes. When you eat soluble fiber, it absorbs water and forms a thick, viscous gel that slows down how fast food moves through your digestive tract. That gel then travels to your lower gut, where it acts as food for trillions of harmless bacteria. As bacteria ferment the fiber, they produce short-chain fatty acids, compounds that regulate fat metabolism and send powerful signals to your brain to stop eating. By prioritizing these specific inputs, you engineer a microscopic environment that actively signals the body to stop hoarding visceral fat. To mobilize that fat, you need an output strategy that avoids the common traps of pure cardiovascular exercise. Aerobic exercise is highly effective at burning calories while you are moving, but once the session ends, the calorie burn stops. Pure cardio does very little to build the foundational muscle tissue you need to stay lean as you age. That requires resistance training. Lifting heavy weights creates micro tears in your muscle fibers, forcing them to repair and expand. This builds lean body mass, which raises the baseline amount of energy your body requires to exist, even when you are sitting perfectly still. This bar chart shows the results of a 24-week clinical trial comparing visceral fat volume loss. The group combining aerobic and resistance training saw significantly more reduction in deep abdominal fat than those doing cardio alone. This specific training mix triggers a heavy release of catecholamines, neurotransmitters that target and mobilize visceral fat. Think of exercise as the structural blueprint used to rebuild the body into a high-functioning metabolic engine. Even with precise nutrition and training, the entire system can fail if the underlying hormonal environment is broken by poor sleep. This graph illustrates the hormonal disaster of sleep deprivation. As sleep drops, leptin, the hormone signaling satiety, plummets. Simultaneously, ghrelin, triggering hunger, skyrockets. Furthermore, physiological fatigue signals your adrenal glands that you're in distress, flooding your system with a massive surge of cortisol, your primary stress hormone. Cortisol directly drives visceral fat accumulation. It is an evolutionary defense mechanism, instructing your body to gather emergency energy and store it securely around your vital organs to prepare for a prolonged crisis. Fiercely protecting a 7 to 9 hour sleep window serves as a biological shield. It prevents these ancient, survival-based stress hormones from overriding the work you do in the kitchen and the gym.
Losing belly fat is not the result of a gimmick, but the natural byproduct of a balanced metabolic machine. You can move past isolated crunch exercises. Instead, front-load your morning with roughly 30 grams of high-quality protein to immediately break your body out of its overnight catabolic state. Integrate soluble fiber to feed your gut microbiome, and commit to a demanding mix of heavy lifting and cardiovascular work to maintain your lean body mass. Treat your sleep as a rigid biological requirement, keeping your stress and hunger signals within a healthy metabolic range. By abandoning the myth of spot reduction, you protect your vital internal organs from metabolic disease and actively extend your biological lifespan.